Hello everybody, I am Levi, and another update video. We kind of had one in late December or something like that when things were all a bit confusing and I was trying to figure out new things, and I'd like to let you know the results of how these things worked out and something I'm rather large that I'm trying in the future. The too long didn't read thing, I'm going to start doing that at the end of update videos. It won't be like some long statement, it's just going to be like a screenshot on the end slate. So go there if you don't want to hear me talk. But for those of you who do want more details behind what I'm going to be talking about, let's get into it. First of all, as of the release of this video, I've successfully done a month of daily uploads. Now this is something that was more talked about behind the scenes than something I planned for on YouTube. On YouTube I was more talking about consistency, but that got a bit crazy. So starting on January 2nd and up until yesterday on February 2nd, I had actually uploaded a video every single day of the month. There wasn't a single day without an upload, even if some of them were live streams. And I was just seeing how well that would work, how possible that is, and more so than I expected, but probably not something I'm able to keep up that much. So, regarding the current games on the channel, of all the series that are on the channel that have already been revealed or started, currently there is 3 of them. There's Halo Combat Evolved, which we have finished recorded, finished editing, and there will be an episode every other day until February 14th when the final episode, episode 44, comes out. Currently me and John don't know where we stand with the sequel, but we know that we want to play it in 2018. More details in episode 44 itself. Another game we're playing on the channel right now is Doki Doki Literature Club with Guy. Now, this has never really been one that I've been too consistent about uploading. It's just if we find time to play it, and then I find time to edit an episode that long. That's just kind of what the pattern is. So, regardless of everything else that comes up in this update video, Doki Doki is just whenever we're able to get out an episode, we will. There's not really any consistencies to it, and other things aren't really getting in the way of it too much. At least, well, that'll make more sense when I get to it. The third game is Robinson the Journey, which is the VR game with the T-Rex that I started. Now, I have already finished this game. I finished it in like late November, early December, and the recordings definitely get better throughout the series, because that was my big trial series where every single time I recorded, I found a better way to optimize my setup for recording VR. Although, I really feel like there's a lot of dead time in the game. Based on what you've seen in episode 1, it does have new things in it, and it definitely has bigger encounters, but the pace doesn't change at all. There's a lot of getting lost and getting upset at mechanics and dead times, so since nobody has said anything to me so far regarding them wanting more, I might just trash the entirety of those recordings, because I don't know if anyone really wants to see hour-long episodes of me getting lost. Although if you haven't seen it, that's kind of a fun episode because I kind of lose my mind. It's probably the most childish I've ever been in a video. There's that, I guess. And that's where it stands for now. I do have some other things that I've started recording, but I have no intention of uploading those anytime soon, because as a follow-up to 1 month of daily uploads, I would like to focus, not necessarily for a month, because this one is more difficult to give a time frame for, but I would like to focus February on Twitch content, which, if you know how Twitch content worked for me, I tried out Twitch content back in 2015 or something, incredibly inconsistent through to the end of like 2016 or so, and only a couple games I played, like Uncharted 3, Uncharted The Lost Legacy, or Uncharted Golden Abyss, Luigi's Mansion, that's Shadow of the Colossus, the first one, or the PS2 version. And that's about all I really played over those 2 or 3 years. Then I started getting back into YouTube content, and streamed quite a bit less. Then we had some exceptions like Okami and Banjo-Kazooie, but then things like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga started becoming a live stream series, and then I realized that I was having issues with live streaming. It was horrible frame rates, basically unwatchable, like 1 frame every half hour or something like bad like that. And so I kind of took a break from live streaming. I didn't really know how well it would work. I wasn't getting anywhere with it, and I didn't have any audience at all. I'd be doing like weekly live streams for a while. No one ever showed up, so there wasn't too much point in it, I guess. But things have changed as of recently. I went through a lot of effort to try getting it up and running again, and over this last month I have figured out quite a few things with live streaming that make it work much better than it ever has before, including things like VR live streaming, which, even though I can't see the chat in most games, I've been doing my best to try to compromise that and check every couple minutes at least. But back on topic. Now that live streaming is doable again for me, I'd like to focus February on live streams. And the first game I would like to live stream is Shadow of the Colossus on PS4. Now that launches next Tuesday in like 3 days from when I believe this update video is going out. And I should be getting it day 1 through Amazon. I don't know how easy it'll be for me to stream since it's right in the middle of the week, but I'm going to be trying to stream that game to completion as consistently as possible, which is why I'm not working on more YouTube content. Because starting as of now, all YouTube content aside from Doki Doki Literature Club, I will not be making any efforts to create. I will probably make a video I might make like an unboxing for like the special edition of Shadow of the Colossus, because that's the version I got, but really probably not much else. I want to focus almost entirely on live streams, and although I can't really promise any sort of schedule for that due to some factors, my best guess right now is Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoons, or evenings. Those are most likely when I'll be live streaming, but really that's just me being hopeful. Obviously I'll be live streaming just whenever I can. And I've also decided that for the live streams, I'm going to try to promote them a bit more. Typically, I've been telling Discord, like, the morning of, hey, I'm going to live stream today, and then, like, Twitter and Discord, I tell them when I am live, but now I think I'm going to be starting to tell Twitter and Discord the day of if I'm going to be live streaming, and then I'm going to be telling Twitter, Discord, and putting up a small YouTube video every time I go live. So hopefully more people can be aware of the live streams and stuff like that. The thing is, Shadow of the Colossus PS4 is not the only game I plan to live stream. I am sort of figuring out where everything balances in. I think that I'm going to try to do at least 3 games before continuing with YouTube. I am going to be starting with Shadow of the Colossus PS4, and I'm going to be ending with Metro 2033. Now, if you know Metro Last Light, which is a game on the channel that I said I'd be finishing after Halo, I realized that I was being a bit stupid about it. So I had, like, the entire time before I even considered playing this necessarily, I've owned both Metro Last Light and Metro 2033, and I thought there'd be some sort of plot between them, and I just looked at the release date of them and assumed the one that came out earlier was the prequel, so I started playing Metro Last Light. If that sounds incorrect to you, it's because I had Metro 2033 Redux, the remaster of it, so I didn't bother looking into the fact that it was a remaster. I just looked at the date they came out and started playing the one that came out sooner, not realizing that a lot of groundwork for this game is in Metro 2033, as far as I've been led to believe. So I'm going to be starting and finishing Metro 2033 and immediately going into Metro Last Light Episode 5. But for that just means Shadow of the Colossus PS4 is the starting game, Metro 2033 is the ending game on Twitch, and I've got a couple ideas for what'll go in the middle, but I'm still not sure. One thing that probably comes to mind for a lot of people is Okami, which, yeah, it's probably been bothering you because of the shirt. But since live stream 4, I have played like 20 minutes of the game. I feel like my biggest problem with it is just getting lost and not knowing where to go and not wanting to be part of searching the walkthrough all the time. I feel like if enough people are watching the series and maybe trying to help me through some of the things that are just confusing, then maybe I'll be continuing it, but honestly, I have no idea how much more interest the game has for me. I've gotten 15 hours in, and I don't know. I don't feel like much more than the music and visuals are sticking with me. And also, there's been a lot of discussion about whether or not this is a good idea, but I'm interested in playing an RPG on Twitch. Now, this is a horrible idea because if I ask anybody what RPG they want me to play, they're only going to list RPGs that they've played, which is not good because ideally I want to find an RPG where nobody who watches it has any experience with it, because RPGs are so heavily focused on being spoiler free, and if you're playing it with people who know everything that's going to happen, it can just be a really frustrating experience for them and a really horrible experience for me as a player because people are going to be trying to spoil things, and I just don't know if it's that good of an idea. But I want to try to find one where the community is new to it, one that I'm not going to come across these kinds of issues and we can all just enjoy the game as is without, well, the disadvantages of people in the community being familiar with the game, which I hope that makes sense. But yeah. Another game that I'm considering for a live stream is actually a duo live stream. Now, if you remember that how I set up two-player recording stream, at the very end you saw Chris show up for a bit. So me and him were recording some stuff. We started recording a game that we aren't sure if we want to do it offline on YouTube or on Twitch. You'll be getting episode 1 of that on Monday, and we're just not sure if we're going to do it offline or on Twitch. We're probably not doing it on YouTube, but I've talked to him and he seems somewhat interested in the live stream concept, so there could be a game that me and Chris are playing together on stream. And then after all of these live streams, with Metro 2033 being the last of them, I think I may take a small break. I don't know for sure how I'm going to go about this, but it's been quite a while since I've really been able to dedicate my time to a game that I can just play on my own and not like worry about YouTube recordings or just stuff like that, and just sit down when I get home, play a game, and not worry about commentary, recording, editing, streaming, spoilers, all that stuff, and just play the game. But as far as this idea goes, I want to try to fit them in somewhere, like maybe in between streams I'll play one, or maybe throughout the streams I'll decide if I'd rather be playing my offline game or a stream game. But I just have some games I want to play in my off time, and those include Metroid 2 Samus Returns. This is the 3DS remake one that I did like a whole video on. I still haven't started the game. I've just been too busy to focus on it. I may have made some content if I had a way of recording it other than pointing a camera at the 3DS, but really I've just kind of been focusing only on games that I'm able to record or stream or something. And that this wasn't one of them, so it's been getting pushed off, and I'd like to actually play it sometime soon. Another one of those games is Super Mario Odyssey, which, if you remember Insane in the Rain music or Carlos Eni, his Cascade Kingdom cover, the only time I've actually played the game is I played through the Cascade Kingdom to record some footage for that video, and otherwise I haven't really done anything with it, so I'm maybe half hour into the game. And although it's on a platform I can stream, I'd rather play this one on my own, because I just, spoilers, and so much about it is like finding the moons or something, and I just don't want to like get exposed to people who are telling me the right or wrong way to do things, because they all know the game way better than I do. And so that's why I feel like that's a good offline game. Another series that I'd love to play on the channel, but I'm just unable to because of all the consoles I have, PS3 is the only one that I cannot record because of special like software in it that prevents my capture card from capturing it. And that is the God of War series, which I have every single game in the series. I've beaten Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta, which are the PSP games. And then I have the first two, God of War Ascension, God of War 3. I don't really know where Ascension fits in this timeline, but I want to play them all in order because on April 20th the next one comes out, and if I can get that one right away, I'd actually be interested in maybe streaming it or a YouTube series on it. But I want to get caught up with the series in time for that game to come out. So I don't believe these are terribly long games, but it is still 4 entire games in addition to these two where I don't really know where I stand on them. So potentially I could be taking a break for the majority of March. I just really don't know. These are just kind of me saying things that I really want to accomplish and catch up on. So there's that. And then 2 more things that I wanted to clarify on is so technically speaking, there is let me find the details specifically. I started this YouTube channel on December 15th, 2016, and that was when I uploaded my first episode of Shadow of the Colossus. I was not happy with that. I didn't know what I was doing. It was recorded and edited incredibly badly, and really it was just some sort of like weird offline live stream that was almost unwatchable. And then I took a couple months off after just that one video because I had no idea what I was doing. Then I started uploading my Okami live streams on February 2nd, which would have been the 1-year anniversary yesterday, but to me personally, I consider the 1-year anniversary of the channel to be on February 7th. So that will also be next week, Wednesday, I think. And that is what I consider to be the true anniversary of the channel being 1 year old, because that was the day where I started uploading Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, which was the first series that I had where I knew what I was doing. I started having a YouTube schedule, I started making content, and I was doing all of the editing, thumbnailing, and understanding kind of the YouTube system and what I wanted to do with it. So that's where I consider it to be the start of my channel, because that's where I started making actual YouTube content and not just sort of working around it, but having YouTube uploads. So yeah, because of the channel hitting 1 year, on Friday, February 9th, which is, 6 days from now, no time specifically set, but I am going to do a live stream. Now, if you remember the 500 subs special where I reviewed my first like 2 or 3 months on YouTube, I would like to do a live stream that is similar to that, except just the entirety of my channel up to this point. Anything that I think is worth revisiting, just go back, give some behind the scenes, get feedback, just kind of see what the channel has become since its debut roughly a year ago. And I'm hoping some of you will join me with that. I'll be sure to let you know any way I can when specifically that live stream is, but most likely you won't find out until maybe the day before. And then one last thing that is just kind of something that people have been asking me about, something I should probably be mentioning, is the new modifications to the YouTube partnership program. Now that's where they require, yeah, users are now required to have 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time in order to be a YouTube partner. Now, I far and away meet the requirements for the watch time due to the Switch video alone, but I don't have the sub count to continue with that, and a lot of people seem to be very concerned for me about that, but honestly, I don't mind it that much. I can see how this is really bad for other channels, but as far as it impacts me specifically, it's not something I'm too concerned about. I've never made any profit from YouTube. I've never really tried to make any profit from YouTube. My goal has just kind of been to have fun and just enjoy what I'm doing, find new ways to hang out with friends, meet new people, kind of build a community around gaming, and really none of it's ever been focused on things that I'd achieve through monetization. So, in all honesty, I've never monetized a single video on this channel. Any videos that have ads on them are because of copyright strikes, which in the end I don't really do anything about, because as long as I'm not monetizing it, they don't affect me at all. So I just haven't been too concerned with this type of thing. So that's just my input on it and how it affects me specifically. Obviously, this is horrible for people who are trying to make a profit out of YouTube, but that's not something I've ever really cared about. So that's just where I stand on that. So that concludes the update video. Those are all the things that I had written on my list to talk about. And so, yes, any questions or comments regarding these updates, let me know in the comment section, on Discord, on Twitter. Actually, now that I think about it, that's one more thing I could do. To this point, I haven't done much of anything on Twitter. I've pretty much just stuck to communicating with people or like replying to things people have said and saying, hey, this new video's up, hey, I'm live, and notifications of when I'm making content. But would you guys care if or be interested for me to actually be more active on the platform as like a personality and not as a reply to people and here's the new upload bot of sorts? I don't know. Maybe I'll find some stuff to throw up on there, but I'm going to try to be a bit more active on Twitter. So let me know what you guys think of all of these things, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Yay.